All right, so probably gonna have to edit this video, but for this TR270 case, you got a cover plate here on the port side rear. You want to pull that underneath the battery. You'll have a fuel hose. Now yours might not be set up like this. That might be an aftermarket attachment, and if it's not, then you're going to want to look at the bottom of the block and find your oil plug, and there will probably be an access plate underneath that you can remove to get access to the drain. All right, so once you got your cover pulled and you pop your nut off your oil hose here, you're gonna have to wait about 3 hours for all of it to drain out. All right, I'm kidding. It's probably closer to like 45 minutes or an hour. I mean, at this point, I could probably screw it back in and throw an oil in it and be fine, but I like to let this little gossamer strand of bullshit finish up what it's doing, because there ain't nothing cooler than just sitting around with your thumb up your ass on the job. I'm just kidding. I do other shit while this is going on. I just went and I got some filters, got me the hydraulic filter for it that hasn't been changed since 2015, so we're going to take care of that too. But yeah, so I'm waiting on that, and then got me a hydraulic and oil filter for this old girl over here. Another thing I'd like to talk about is when you've got an old filter like this, and let's say you're some idiot like me who doesn't have the proper oil filter wrench. I've got 3 oil filter wrenches that I've just tried on this, and none of them are the right thing. But there's a couple tricks you could do. Some folks take a strap or a strap wrench and wrap it around, or their belt, something like that. You can do that, and it does work. But if you don't care about a little bit of mess, the redneck fuck it send it maneuver is to just go ahead and bang a screwdriver all the way through the filter, since you ain't going to use it again, and then use the handle to turn it. But you're going to make a mess, so get you like an old oil jug and cut the top off, stick it under there before you do something like that. Me personally, I like Trusty Rusty over here. I've used this thing too many times since I got it, and these are directional. You want to turn that way, or no, the other way. Yeah, you want to go that way, so that when you press on this back handle, you're pressing them together. So for unscrewing this, we want to go that way. Second to last notch here. And she's broke loose. Nice and easy. So you all can see, I'm not kidding, she did break loose. Well, she was loose. Yeah, see? Anyway, I need 2 hands for this. So, you know, and you probably guessed it, it's gonna be messy when you pull that horizontal filter out. Fucking geniuses. But yeah, I shoved a rag up underneath the filter right here. Caught a lot of it, but still had some drip down onto the battery. But wipe it up, no big deal. Also, for anybody who wants to know, this is a pretty expensive filter. It's about 100 bucks, 150 bucks if you ain't special. And the old one, there's your part number. This is a New Holland 477-10533. Cross references the Wix WL 10400. And yeah, since we're not changing the fluid here and we want to minimize the amount of air in the system, I'm going to take all this fluid that's in this old filter and pour it into the new one, because I'm that guy. Well, once you get her in there, go ahead and give her a date so the next person knows which where they are. And on ones where you end up spinning the number on the other side where it's rare hard to see it, I like to write it somewhere where it's easy to see. That way I don't have to go, and the next person don't have to go finding the number. And yeah, we're gonna run this, but we're gonna put some oil in it first. So make sure you don't accidentally start it up with no oil trying to get the air out of your hydraulic system. As far as removing your oil filter, you're gonna come on the starboard side, and you've got 3 10 millimeters. There's one here, and one down there. You pull this cover, that oil filter's sitting right in there. I don't know if you can see it. Alright, so last time I did this, I was smart enough to turn the machine on, lift up the bucket to get the arm out of the way, and lock the arm before I drain the oil. But I drained the oil this time. So it is a little tricky to get this cover off with the bucket down. But once you do, your oil filter's right there. Pop off your old one, toss in your new one, add your oil, you're good to go. Oh, we got our new filter on. Once you got that done, if you're like me and you're a dork and you left the bucket down, you can just leave it down, throw some oil in the bitch, start it up, lift it up, and then put the cover back on. But make sure that when you lift it up, you use this. Don't let it crush you if there's a failure. This thing comes down and locks the hydraulic cylinder so that you don't get crushed in an emergency situation. Use your safety tools. But let me show you what I got going on over here. This right here is the oil dispenser of doom. So I gotta grab the forklift, move this over to the machine. All right, so once you grab your forklift and you get your giant barrel and your dispenser of oil nice and close to your oil, you can come down and use your awesome Nip-X. Make sure that your oil drain plug is tight. Yeah, I say she's plenty tight. Alrighty. This, yeah, she might have got a little dented by the forklift, but that's okay. We just dumped this into 5-gallon buckets, and then we got us a big old buffalo for it. Rub some dirt on it. Yep, so obviously you can tell what happens here. We stick that right down in there, and we add some, and then we pull the dipstick and check, and then we add some, and then we pull the dipstick and check, and repeat until it's at the right spot. That's about it. So this little hand pump pumps pretty fast, so I put this valve on number 1 so we can break the siphon, because it tends to give us a little bit of a siphon effect. There's a lot less mess involved, and I can just leave it down in there when I shut it off after I've given some pumps. Check our dipstick and see where we're at. Oh, it's still reading old oil. All right, so I'm gonna give her a wipey wipe. This is hard with one hand. Give me a break. Now we're caught in everything. So once the dipstick starts reading, I like to do about 5 pumps at a time. Before that, I do 10 or 20, especially on something like this where I believe the oil capacity, fucking focus, geez, is I think 2.5 gallons, something like that. It's more than 1 gallon. But anyway, we've got the perfect oil level on the dipstick. So we're done there. All right, so before we get in and test fire it, we want to make sure nothing's leaking after we add our oil. We want to make sure nothing's in the way. Everything's pulled back, all our caps and covers are back on. All right. I could have shown you the starting procedure, but then I'd have to kill you. Okay, test fire was successful. We got our bucket up. Now, I'll show you how to use this lock pin. Keep yourself safe. Oh, somebody duct taped this in there real good. All right, I need 2 hands, and I also am addicted to, and during my little check, I didn't bring my screws down. Okay, so now I know why they taped it. One, it was probably rattling around. That's the off position. This is the on position. And this pin is not the correct size for the lock. But that'll keep me safe for the 30 seconds it's going to take me to put these bolts back in.
Much better.